Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Brown Bag today. We're going to talk about the Celebration of Caring Committee. My name is Kisiel. I'm one of the co-chairs, and the other co-chair is Fiedor. So, did I say that right?
No.
Fiedor?
Fiedor.
Fiedor.
That's okay. Hi.
We're going to start our presentation today with a pre-assessment test.
How much do you know about sepsis?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like to have music playing in the background for this pause.
Music?
Yeah.
Aren't you going to give John
Our goal today is that by the end of the presentation, you're going to be able to answer all these questions. You're going to have so much knowledge on our Celebration of Caring Committee, and then you go out and share it with others. One of the things we'd like to do today is encourage as many people to participate in the Celebration of Caring Committee. If you can't participate in the regular meetings, at least some of the events might interest you, or some of your coworkers or friends. So we'd like to encourage everyone to participate to whatever level they can. I'm going to turn it over to Ann right now.
Okay, well, while you're, let's see here. Okay, while you're doing the test, we'll give you a few minutes and I'll just chatter. Many people aren't familiar with how the Celebration of Caring Committee came about. And so that's one thing that we wanted to kind of let everyone know today is that, you know, this committee evolved out of the Code of Caring Committee. And we evolved it out because the Code of Caring, at that point, it's my understanding, was more of a performance-based type of a thing. And some people had some negative connotations about Code of Caring in the committee. And it got to be where it was way too much, and we really couldn't separate the fun stuff and the recognition of folks for things they did versus the you violated Code of Caring type things or however that worked. And that was pretty much pre-me, so I'm kind of just going on what people have told me. So we wanted to evolve into a committee that was strictly celebrating us as employees of Sweetwater Memorial Hospital, Sweetwater County, and have fun things, do fun things, hopefully things that people will enjoy and have a good time at, and then maybe get to know someone that they didn't know before, and just have a good time and celebrate being positive and having a good time in the workplace. Those of you who know me know I have a lot of fun down in the basement. Had several people already this week said, oh my gosh, you've got all this stuff out for Halloween. I said, the decoration for Halloween has not even begun yet. So anyway, that's me. So that's kind of who we were and who we are now. And so we initially tried to think of things that would interest different folks at different times, and we were fortunate this year that we do have a little bit of a budget so that we can do a few different things without it being a burden on the committee members of putting it out of their own pockets, which is, I guess, under the Code of Caring, a lot of that came out of those folks' own pockets, which got to be kind of costly too. So that's kind of how we came about. So do we want to talk about the test, or do I go into the next thing?
No, let's go ahead on to the next one.
Okay.
When we switched over from the Code of Caring emphasis to the Celebration of Caring Committee, we kicked off with a new mascot. And one of the things we did is this lovely young guy was donated to us, but he didn't have a name. So we had a Name the Mascot contest, and many of you were here for that, and you know. We had over 64 names submitted. Isn't that incredible? 64 names. We had a whole lot more that people participated, because a lot of them had duplicate names. So it was really incredible. So the committee narrowed it down to 4 names, and then we put it out in the survey for all the staff to pick from those 4 names. And his name is Sir Cares a Lot. So Sir Cares a Lot is the mascot for the Celebration of Caring, and it fits in with our Memorial Hospital logo with the Mustangs or the horses and stuff that we have on our logo. And so his goal is he goes around from department to department each month, and he's stabled there at each department to show how much we appreciate that department and what they do. And then that particular department will decide where Sir Cares a Lot goes next month. So he's traveled around quite a bit. He has been to central scheduling, he has been to nutrition services, environmental services, facilities, and the therapies department, physical therapy, OT, PT, that sort of thing. And that's where he is this month, which is October. So he'll be there for the month, and we encourage the different departments to display him. They can decorate him if they like. For example, when he was in nutrition services, he was out by the serving line, so he had a little cap on, so you wouldn't get any hair in the food and things like that. Pretty cute, as long as you don't do anything permanent. So the folks have had a lot of fun with it. And since he's been traveling around, they also send what I've been calling a Pony Express message of appreciation to each department. And some of the departments have come up with some really great things. Some have made up rhymes and letters to go to show how much they appreciate the other departments. And as I said, he's stapled at a department for a month, and they decide where he goes from there. So he's been traveling around quite a bit in the last few months. And everyone seems to like the idea, and he's pretty appreciative, and they like to display him. So it's been a lot of fun. So that's one of the fun things we've been doing. So that's Sir Cares a Lot. Let's see. As Anne said, one of the things that we like to do are just plan some fun activities. It's totally up to the staff if they like to participate. It has nothing to do with work other than we're celebrating each other and how much we care and appreciate each other. Last year in November we had a chili cook-off, which was very popular with folks. So we had people that brought in chili. It was a cook-off so people could come and taste different chili and vote for the ones that they liked. It was very popular, so we're going to repeat it again next month. So November 3rd will be this month's chili cook-off, and if you want to enter, you can sign up on the Shares Drive under the Holiday Planning and Activities. Did I say that right? So if you want to sign up, we have 3 different categories this year: green chili, red chili, and miscellaneous. Is that correct? So if you're interested, sign up. We can only take 15 entries. That's as much room as we can handle, we found out last year. And so that's really great. We had a lot of fun last year, so we're looking forward to it again this year. So that was one of the activities that we had. We were looking at a few others. One of the ones we're going to be doing next week, and that will be Wednesday, October 14th at 2 o'clock in the cafeteria, is we're going to do a short little activity, or a couple of them, and they come under the title of a Minute to Win It activities. And these are things like, what can you do in a minute? And there's things like, how many cups can you stack? How many paper clips can you put on a chain? How many paper clips can you undo from a chain in that time? So just some fun things. We're going to have some cookies there. So it's just going to be open to anyone who can come at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the cafeteria. So just a fun thing like that. So if you're interested in participating, if you're interested in helping out with things like the chili cook-off or Minute to Win It, just let us know. And one of the things that we decided to do when our meeting our committee got changed over is we didn't set specific meeting dates and times, because a lot of people say, I can't come the first Tuesday of every month at 2 o'clock or whatever it is. So we've been floating the meetings around to different times, mornings, afternoons, different days of the week, lunchtime, all different times and dates. And one of the things we like to get from here, the folks that are here today, is if you have any ideas for that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We haven't had a ton of participation and at these meetings. We'd like to have more if we could, and we don't know if a set meeting would be better or not. As we do float them around, we do get different people at those different dates and times, and that was part of the idea. So if that's still a good idea that you feel, or ask around, go back to your departments and ask folks for their input and get back to us, we'd really appreciate it. We can set up a specific time and date, or we can keep floating them around, and people can just come whenever they can come, and that's fine too. If you can't come to a meeting, it's also okay just to participate in some of the activities. That's perfectly fine. And again, you can We try to keep in touch with everyone through emails and things like that. You're welcome to submit your ideas, your thoughts, or just participate in the events as you can. So, I'll let you take over on that.
Okay, one thing that we really want to stress is that we want a lot of people to participate. And like Kathy said, we know that not everyone can come to every meeting. So we have a very open and fluid membership. Those who can come, we hope they do come, participate, give us their ideas and that kind of stuff. So it's not just this is the committee and this is it, no more people can be a part of it. Anybody can be a part of it, and we would love to have a lot more representation from the various departments, not only in the hospital, but in the MLB as well. Because we know from just some of the things that have come up, there's some folks out there that have some really, really cool ideas of things that we can do. And so when we get a variety and we keep that membership fluid and people come and go, then we have new and fresh ideas all the time, and hopefully give us a little better idea what folks around the hospital and the medical office building would like to do, or what they would think would be a lot of fun and that they would participate in. And as also, if you only wanted to help on a certain project, like in the past, what we've done in the past is that we did thank you cards for Hospital Week, and we took those, Kathy and the group took those around to each department and gave the thank you cards to each employee, and we had cookies and that kind of stuff as Hospital Week, just an appreciation of, from the Celebration of Caring Committee. And that went over, I think, very well. I think people really got a kick out of that, or at least that's the feedback I got, that people were like, wow, I got this card, and it actually had my name on it, and people actually signed it themselves and that kind of stuff. So I think people were very enthused by that. And so we thought we would try to do like one activity a quarter, and so we've kind of done that a little bit with Hospital Week and the chili cook-off, and then we were going to try and do some stuff at the picnic, and that just didn't come together like we wanted it to. And so, we decided that we weren't going to kind of haphazard it. We wanted it to come together. We wanted it to be positive and go off well, instead of being, haphazard and that kind of stuff, because that's not the direction that we want people to think we're going. We're going, every which direction. So if you only wanted to help on the chili cook-off, or if we continue Hospital Week and you only want to help with the activity during Hospital Week, or anything else, because we've gotten a couple of other really good ideas. Do you want me to go into that? Sure. Okay. We have two ideas that the committee is kicking around right now, and these two ideas actually came from individuals who at that time were not part of the committee. They just approached Kathy. In fact, one of them approached Kathy last year, and another one came up as an idea out of the quality retreat. And the suggestion was, well, it was a fun thing. It really wasn't a quality goal, because it wasn't, didn't have, you couldn't really do that SMART goal thing with it. But it still sounded like a cool idea, and so Kathy kind of gathered on to that and brought the individual forward who suggested it. And so what we're thinking about is we have two things. The first one is called Meet a Buddy. And Meet a Buddy is, again, a voluntary thing. We haven't really tied it down yet, but we would put out to anybody who would like to get together with another maybe one or two people from different departments that maybe you don't know, hopefully you don't know, and get to know them, and either get to know them through, it's kind of evolved. It came around as a lunch buddy, and then as we talked about that, people who may want to participate may not be able to do lunch. So we kind of evolved it into what we're going to call Meet a Buddy. And so people who want to do that will put their names in a hat, we'll draw them out, let them all know, okay, you're paired up with these two people, and you guys get together and decide when would be a good time to meet and kind of get to know each other, whether it's breakfast, lunch, coffee break. Maybe you can't do it during work, but everybody's kind of like, well, let's go have a coffee after work, or a cocktail, or something like that after work, and just get to know each other. And that was the one that came out of the quality. Because, you know, just to try to get folks in different departments to know each other better and to become familiar with maybe what that department does. Maybe somebody doesn't really know what quality does, or, you know, I think everybody knows like med-surg and those kinds of things, but, you know, a lot of people may not know exactly what nuclear medicine does, or what chemo does, or radiation, or all the different things that go on in the lab and that kind of thing. So,
Or who works there? I hear it all the time, you know, that we're at lunch or something, it's like, I don't know that person, who's that person? Are they new? No, they've only been here 3 years and nobody seems to know, right? Because you know, interact with lots of different departments on a regular basis. So it's an idea to reach out and just meet somebody else who works here. And like Ann said, maybe learn a little bit about where they work and what they do. And just so next time you go down to the cafeteria or whatever, you can say, oh, I do know that person. Yeah, that person works in the lab, or this person works over at the MOB in the orthopedic clinic, or something like that. So I thought that was a real interesting program, and trying to do that. So we're probably going to get that kicked off in a few months, and we're going to ask people, of course, people want to participate. So you put your name in the hat, and we'll find out where you work. So obviously, Ann and I know each other, so it's like, well, if we pull out our names, that's kind of negates the whole purpose of the program, so we'll put our names back in and try to meet with someone else. But I don't know, what do you all think about that idea?
I like it. Good one, yeah. I like it. It's worth a
So-
try, for sure.
and I think I'm just going to share a little personal story from this weekend, because I think this kind of exemplifies that maybe this is a good idea for us to do this. I was gone last weekend. My youngest son got married, and we flew back into Rock Springs on Sunday. And, you know, gather up your luggage, go out to the car. The little unlocker thing doesn't work. Okay, well, the battery's obviously dead in my little lock button. Well, no, the whole battery was dead in the car.
Oh, no.
So, you know, you raise the hood, and my husband went back into the airport to see if one of the rental people could come and help us. And so and I didn't know it at the time, or when we got on the plane, but Alyssa Orr down in chemo, she's a chemo nurse, she was on the same plane. And her husband stopped, and because she recognized me, and I'm like, I know she works at the hospital, but I really don't know who she is. And that was just something that was really cool, because it was like, oh yeah, you're at the hospital. She says, yeah, and I work just down the hall from you. And I'm like, okay, yes you do. And so, you know, just to kind of get that stuff going, so you meet new people and whatever. So anyway, that's my little story.
Did you get your car started?
They did get my car started. Right. And believe it or not, it was my husband's fault it went dead.
Oh,
Because he left the flash on.
record.
All right. The second idea.
This will be posted for posterity.
That's right.
Let him know that. The second idea that was presented to Kathy, and this actually was like last winter, early spring. It was called, and it was actually presented by Jim in facilities, and a place where he had worked before. They did a thing that they called Dine Around, and as he was describing it to the committee, everybody was like, oh yeah, kind of like a progressive dinner. And you know, a progressive dinner, I think when it first started was, you know, a group of friends, neighbors got together, and you went to this house for an appetizer and this house for something, and then you just progressed around to finally getting dessert. And so they did that at the hospital where Jim was before, and he said, you know, it was really a great way to get to know people, to see departments that maybe you don't normally go into. And so we've kind of kicked that around and talked about logistics and where could we do it so that people could still get around to different departments but still maintain all of the rules and regulations that we have to, being a healthcare facility with, and I'm not real familiar with food on different places and that kind of stuff.
And
So-
patient privacy.
Patient
Of course,
privacy.
you have a job to do too, so people still have to keep working.
So we're still in the, how can we do this stages with that, but everyone thought that that would be really fun, because then you could go to different departments, even though it might be in the break room or a conference room, like in the MOB, a conference room, but you could still kind of go and see where offices were or are. So many times I have hospital employees that come into the basement and they're like, where's Dr. Nupani's office? And, you know, it's up on second floor. Okay, well, I thought it was down here. No, it's up on second floor. And so even the hospital people don't know a lot about where things are in the MOB. And I think vice versa, some of the MOB people don't really know where things are in the hospital. I'm still not sure to this day I could find Kathy's office. So.
And that's on purpose.
Yeah, she doesn't want me to find her office.
No.
So anyway, so that was just another really clever thing that came to the committee from someone who was like, yeah, I'll present this. No, I don't really want to be part of the committee, but here's an idea for you. And we want to encourage that because, you know, that's just fun stuff, so.
And that's what we're about. It's just fun. As you can see, there's no regulations, there's no forms to fill out. Well, you have a test, but other than that. But that's what we're about, just to celebrate each other and being here at Memorial Hospital and pulling together teamwork. And so we're open to other ideas and suggestions. And we don't want to do something every day either. We thought some major projects maybe once a quarter, like the chili cook-off, if we ever did the dining around. So there could be some ongoing projects like the Meet a Buddy program that can keep ongoing. But easy to maintain, but kind of fun, and the idea is just to help us pull together, know each other, help celebrate each other. That's what it's about. Alrighty, any questions so far? We're doing that good a job? Christy has a question.
I have a thought. When you look at orientations, and of course this is looking at the literature on orientations, and it makes it's common sense, but they talk about if people don't make a friend here in the first 6 months or any workplace, they tend to leave the environment. I'm wondering, like this Meet a Buddy thing, if people were really interested in doing that, to meet a buddy who's starting in orientation.
That's a great idea.
And one of the gals in orientation this week has done clinicals and stuff here, so she knows the environment, but someone in the group with her said, I'm here, I haven't done anything, I don't know anybody, blah, blah, blah. So she kind of befriended her, and I think that's already been helpful, but it just made me think about that again, to select someone at orientation and make sure that they have a buddy.
Guess who started together here on the very same
Oh,
day
how
of
about
orientation?
Yeah.
We did, that's when we
Yeah.
met, when
Yeah.
we went through orientation together. So you're absolutely
I
right.
think that's a great idea.
It is, and I think maybe to, make sure we include them in this program.
Yeah, you do notice that, like, people that just went through orientation and stuff, somebody they've went to orientation with,
Mm-hmm.
meaning if they're with you or whatever, they don't say anything, but then they see somebody that they
Mhm.
went through that with, it's like, oh, there's somebody I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
They talk to them, but
Or if they wanted to just, instead of meeting a buddy that's already here, they could choose to come into orientation and kind of like adopt
yeah.
like a big brother, big sister kind of
Oh,
thing.
I like that.
I do too. You better write that down, I can't remember anything.
I know.
She knows. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Adopt an orientee.
Yeah, there you go.
Meet a
That's
buddy, adopt
exactly.
an orientee.
Exactly.
I like to make names up for these things, can you tell? That's pretty cool.
Are
I
you
think
gonna
that'd be a
talk,
great idea.
are you gonna talk about the blog?
I think that's a great idea. We do have a blog, and I point this out when I do my orientation presentation. On the intranet for Memorial Hospital, under Departments, Celebration of Caring has their own blog. And so we put down about Sir Cares a lot when we have the name contest. We have pictures and all from all his travels. And so if you're interested in any of what's been going on with Celebration of Caring, look at the blog. I do try to send out emails about meetings and events coming up, like Ann's been sending out things about the chili cook-off. So we're trying to keep you informed in lots of different ways. So take a look at that. it's kind of fun to see where he's been. He's really traveled a lot in these last few months, poor little guy.
And the poor little guy, he's, and I'll have to just add, because he's in my department now for this month, and he worked so hard in environmental services that he's kind of gotten a few sprained hooves, and it was a little dry down there, so he's kind of got a little bit of choking going on his hay.
He's a little horse. Ah!
So he's a little hoarse, very good, very good. So we're gonna give him some rehabilitation. We're gonna build his strength back up and take care of those little strains and low back pains and that kind of stuff. And then Ramona's gonna work with him on some swallowing techniques. She's our speech therapist. So look for pictures to come, because he's gonna be totally rehabilitated. And, we have also started working on his Halloween costume.
Oh.
And so that will be available coming soon.
And those letters, those Pony Express letters are on there too, and those
Yes.
were fun. Those
They
were
have
fun to
come
walk-
up
to look
with
at.
some cute things. It is, yeah, that is amazing.
It is. I've never expected these things to be as creative as they are. They've really worked hard on them. And like I said, a lot in the form of like poems and things, and really cool to say how much we appreciate this other department. And I didn't even expect that. So you all have taken the ball and run with it, and we got all different things that we can do. So please spread the word. We'd love to have people participate, not just in the meetings, but in the other activities. We'd love to get ideas from folks for other activities. And again, we don't want to get burnout, but so we're not planning something every day. It's not going to be that. It's just fun stuff that we can do throughout the year to help celebrate us and help bring us together. And just to say, we're all doing a good job here. Good job.
Good job.
Yay. Questions on anything?
Is there any question on the test that nobody knows the answer to as of yet?
Let's find out, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, question number 1. What is the celebration of caring about? Who wants to answer that?
Showing our appreciation for other departments, all departments.
Bring me your coat of caring.
There you
Right.
go. Okay, that'll work.
Excellent. All right. Who's the celebration of caring mascot?
Sir Lance.
Cares.
There's a lot.
Yeah, Sir Cares.
Sir Lancelot.
Well, yeah, Lance, I guess, but yeah, Sir Cares a lot. When does the committee meet? I'll let you do the others.
I didn't know that answer at all.
Once a month.
Whenever
I
it's
put down
done.
once. a
That's
month.
right, yeah.
That's right, it doesn't have a set time.
Whenever, floating.
So, right, floating days, floating times, excellent. And it's not even necessarily once a month. Sometimes it's twice a month, sometimes it's every 6 weeks or whatever, depending on what's happening. So, different times, that's right.
Times, yeah.
So again, we'd like some feedback on that too. So go back and talk to folks in your department and areas and say, have you heard about this committee? What do you think about it? What do you think about this idea that they keep changing the meeting times and dates and things like that? Okay.
Okay. What does Minute to Win It have to do with the committee?
It's games that
Fun
you play
activity.
with, they have to be timed.
Okay.
Get together.
Get together, fun activities, yeah.
I'm going to add an addendum. Do you remember when the Minute to Win It activity is coming up next week? What date and time?
October 14th.
Wednesday, October 14th at
2.
2 o'clock. That's right. Where?
Cafeteria.
All right.
And there will be cookies.
There will be
And as some of you know, anytime I'm involved in something, there will probably be prizes. Oh, what other activities do we have planned?
Chili cook-off.
All right.
All right, yay!
You said chili cook-off? Okay. What else?
Hospitality,
That's right.
quality retreat. Meet a buddy.
Cool, very good.
Wow.
Wow. Who can?
Dine Around?
Dine
Dine
around,
around,
there you
yeah.
go, absolutely. Who can be a member?
Anybody.
All right, you guys did
Wow.
well. Now, yay! Like I said, anytime I'm involved in an activity, there will be prizes. So, we have 2 door prizes. So, we'll pass these around, put your name on them, we'll throw them in the bucket, and we'll let
Oh.
Joanne pull out 2 winners.
Oh.
We had to guess the amount of candy.
I was. Oh, thank goodness we just get to
Now, you
pull
know,
out
that's
the hat.
a thought,
Yes.
since
I know.
I made them
never win those.
I should have been working this morning, yeah, I didn't have time to count. And please, I put little boxes of stickers, so if there's
oh, no, that's not what
more,
you meant.
take the ones that are next to you.
This would've been a lot cuter if I
Okay,
had
thank
black.
you.
There you go.
Oops, I think I gave you a couple there. Which Beth thinks is just fine to put in more than one entry, so.
I know, aren't they cute? Little stickers. Oh, you got
And let's see, I
candy.
did not think to bring my
I did, but I can't see on
Yours says boo. What's yours say?
frightful.
Frightful.
I guess I didn't come around and take pictures in there,
I could put it on my name tag.
Yeah. Did you say you were gonna draw this for me?
but Joanne,
All right.
Oh,
I'll bring
okay,
it forward to you.
all right.
You just look the most innocent.
Yeah. I'm trying to say, well, pull up. Yeah. Okay, no looking.
She's not looking.
Okay, Chris.
Ooh.
All right.
so since we drew Chris's name first, she can have her choice.
Geez, I'll take the one on this side,
The
I
ghost
guess.
one?
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, those
All right.
are cute. Those are really cute. Okay. No, it can't be. That's my
Is it
own
your-
name.
Did we make a rule? That's okay?
Yeah.
It's
All right.
That
All right,
Oh,
education.
one. Wow.
Yeah.
Gone down to education for some Halloween candy.
All right, any other questions or
I never
anything?
read those.
Thank you,
Wow,
and thanks
thank
for working
you.
on this.
Comment.
That's a-
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you. Appreciate it. Spread the word, please.
Yeah,
Spread
thank
the
you.
word.
Thank you.